What is up, guys? Coop here, and today we're going to be looking at the Warbringers trailer. So basically, this is going to be kind of their new, sort of side cinematic, story-driven things that they're going to be using to hype us up right before the expansion. The expansion is coming out literally in about a month, so hype is real for that. So we have a few characters that they're going to be showing off, but anyways, we're just going to take a look, and then we're going to actually take a look at every individual scene, because there's a lot of interesting little scenes here and there that I think have bigger implications and actually make me a little bit more hyped, but also worried about the story of where World of Warcraft is going to go. And it's a good worry, by the way. It's not like a worried, bad. It's like, I'm worried because I'm like, oh snap, these threats are going to be big that are going to be coming for us. So, anyways, enough rambling. Let's watch the good old video. So, roll it. Got the Burning Intelligence Helm. Queen Najara. Oh, that's kind of neat. Arthas, Jaina, Marisa. Interesting. Alrighty. Okay, so we saw that. It was pretty hype. It's pretty cool. Not much was really shown because obviously it's 30 seconds, but if you actually pause it at individual points, you actually get a lot of the story and what sort of cinematography they're going for. So the first thing is obviously the Burning of Teldrassil. This is right before it happens. It looks like there's kind of like a little mini war going on. At first we thought this was an inside job or some sneaky job or like the Twilight Cultists or something like that. Hasn't been fully explained. But we know for a fact Sylvanas was actually trying to make effort to get to Teldrassil. So it looks like Sylvanas has been kind of like the bad guy. But maybe that's what the beta and alpha has been trying to make it look like. But in reality, she's definitely got some more things going on. This character over here is just some random elf looking thing. Could be a night elf, could be a blood elf. I think it's Sylvanas' sister, Varisa. And there's also been a lot of talk with Varisa in the recent comics and things. And I think it would add a lot more flavor if Varisa were to die. Varisa has been a character that was super hardcore for the Alliance after Garrosh bombed it and pretty much brought it all down to shit and killed her husband in the Faramore bombing. And I think Varisa was hardcore for the Alliance, and then towards the end of MOP she was starting to talk to her sister in one of the books, War Crimes, and eventually kind of opened up to her. However, I think if you did it from a narrative story, one of the biggest things that could potentially change Sylvanas' kind of evil nature for good is if her sister dies. So I think that would be a rather interesting story to dive into. But basically, this is the bombing of Faramore. We're going to see it when the patch actually comes out a little bit more. We have an awesome shot of her. We have Saurfang in the background, which is kind of cool. And then we have Nephanos, which is like her right-hand man / lover. And then if we go over here, we have the next scene, which is Queen Najara, which is, it looks like this is right after the Well of Eternity sunk into sort of the ground, right after the collapse of the portal that was meant for, I believe, Sargeras. She is actually one of the most powerful mage characters in the game. She was apparently so scary that even killed Jaden and Archimonde should be afraid. She was on the same level. Now keep in mind, whenever we fought Archimonde or killed Jaden, it was typically because we had help of something. So with killed Jaden, we had obviously the artifact weapons of Archimonde, we had the wisps to help us out, and then there's Warlords of Draenor's Archimonde, which we just don't even talk about because I don't understand logically how we could defeat him, but we ended up defeating him. She's supposed to be on their power level, if not a little bit higher. So it's rather interesting for her, but one of the things you'll notice is that she sinks into the ocean. Obviously she's dying off, and then at this moment something is supposed to happen that turns her into a Naga. That's sort of the lore that goes on. It's supposed to be like an old god related stuff. It's never really confirmed all the way, but it's pretty much confirmed that the old gods did it to her. And I think that's when she's going to realize or beg for something to save her. Now this is a thematical cut. It's supposed to look like it's going straight from Ajara to this. But actually, I think this is actually more focusing on Jaina's story. Now, one of the things that's really interesting is all these spirits and things from the ocean, and I think that's sort of supposed to represent the Drust, which is this ancient civilization that was wiped out by the Kultirians. But I think that maybe it goes a little deeper. I think that something related to the death is really deep in the roots of this area, and I think that we're going to be diving in a little bit more into what the Shadowlands is. So similar to how the Emerald Dream is, the Shadowlands is supposed to be where all of Undeath goes. When you die, you're technically supposed to be going to the Shadowlands, which is where like your spirit's at, and you kind of walk around with spirit healers and stuff. However, it's not fully confirmed, and it's believed to just be purgatory. Basically, if World of Warcraft wanted to pull an expansion out of their butt, they could literally just say the Shadowlands. Shadowlands is a completely unexplored area that is super dark and super scary that we never have went to before. So once again, you kind of see like these undeath and like sort of these skulls and undead and drust everywhere. So I think that maybe there might be a little bit something deeper here. There's a giant ghost ship, which I think might be like phantoms of our past, or these sort of blessed ships that they keep talking about. And I think that these ships are maybe blessed with the souls of the people that have been dying. If you remember, one of the zones to the north of Kultiris has these sea priests that are apparently blessed ships. And obviously we find out later that they're like old god as hell. So one of the things I think is going on is maybe they're using like the Drust spirits and things as sort of like a soul engine, or using death to pretty much keep these ships alive and well and warded. And then you have this awesome scene where just Jaina opens up her eyes and it's just like scary looking. You got Arthas the Lich King, which is awesome to see, kind of a character that we haven't seen in a while, like thematically, because obviously this guy was one of the best and coolest characters and unique characters with lore, and you know, just cool to see him here. And it looks like this is going to be like the march when he goes down and takes down the Sunwell, because it's all beautiful area. There's the yellow petals and everything, and the area of I think it's Keltalos. I'm so bad with my elven names, but basically it was such a beautiful area, and it has a lot of unique yellow flowers. I'm 100% sure this is going to be Sylvanas' story where she talks about war. This is once again Jaina riding on a boat next to a bunch of crashed ships, which I'm very curious about this story, because this one seems the most outlandish. I expected them to do like a bombing of Faramore story and all these other stories and everything. She also has this like creepy guy that's just like kind of paddling her through the area, but I think this is going to be about the Drust. I know in the story she's technically getting pushed away into sort of these lands that are supposed to be like where you send people to go away. She was exiled in the beginning quests. Not to spoil anything, but she basically gets exiled to a different area, and it's full of like Drust. So I think it's going to be really interesting going on with the Drust magic. We're probably going to explore a little bit there, and she's probably going to be reminded of the past. Now, one of the things that's really cool is immediately after that we see N'Zoth. This is 100% N'Zoth. We've seen it from the artwork that he has like these red eyes, and he has a lot of them everywhere. And I think this is going to represent N'Zoth, and this is going to be part of Queen Ajara's thing, because she's going to be getting empowered by N'Zoth to turn into a Naga. So this is really cool to see it, just in general, like the quick little eyes. So that was really cool. And then you're going to see obviously some war going on. So you got the orcs here. Looks like, let's see, yeah. Looks like we got like a sort of alliance character fighting like an orc here. I don't know what part of the story this would be, but probably Jaina's, I'm assuming. Then you got Varisa here, who's, you know, obviously watching. You got what looks like Queen Ajara, and she's getting attacked by a bunch of it's sort of like the Nightborn, but like the Wrecked, or the Wretched, I can't remember what they're called, but it looks like she's getting attacked by them, and it looks like it's pretty scary for her. But obviously we know that she gets transformed. But it's interesting to see all these creatures of undeath at the bottom of the ocean trying to come at her, the Highborn that basically are stuck there. Then you have Arthas the Lich King, and you obviously have, this is him when he kills her. So this is when he kills Sylvanas, so I think we're going to get a little bit more into the story of that. And one of the things that's just interesting is just, again, this story with Jaina. It's going to so many, like, random areas. And this area looks like a ancient, like, Titan ruins. And it looks like this is, like, kind of similar to the area that's the heart of Azeroth. And it looks like she's just sad and, like, weeping. And there's, like, people's faces everywhere and all that. And it's just interesting to see that. Next is, obviously, it looks like this is probably, it's either Kultalos or Kel'Thuzad or whatever. Not Kel'Thuzad, Kultiris, or this is going to be when the good old Well of Eternity falls down and is getting corrupted and gets sunken into the ocean. And I think this is basically Queen Ajara. So yeah, it looks like that's basically Queen Ajara trying to blockade it. So as you can see here, she's using all of her might to hold back this water. So I think this is going to show Queen Ajara when she's trying to protect the Nightborn and the basically the Night Elves, and trying to protect them with all of her might, this giant barrier. So it's going to make her actually look like a good light character. So it's going to be interesting, because honestly, if you look at Queen Ajara's story, she was, yeah, she had like bad intentions of like bringing in the armies and everything, but she did actually try to protect her people in the final hours. It wasn't like she was like, oh, you guys are all fucked, teleporting now. It's like, no, she got screwed over, and then the whole thing fell apart. And then there's this really awesome scene with Sylvanas here, and one of the things that you'll notice is that her magic is like blue. Once again, it reminds me of the Drust and the power of the Shadowlands and things that we've seen in the Shadowlands that have been powered by it. One of the things that you gotta keep in mind too is if you ever notice this, and I want to make a whole speculation video about this, the Lich King's eyes were blue, and the Drust magic is blue, and Sylvanas and the cinematic is blue. And I think that's rather interesting to look at, because I think that maybe there's more of a correlation there with what is going on. So, and you'll start to see that as time goes on, it goes red, and then it goes to Warbringers, and then that's pretty much it. And then it ends with the scene here. The person has finally fallen over, and looks like they're pretty much dead, which I'm assuming is Varisa, because it's blue, and it's like got like a whiter skin, so I think that's Varisa. So I don't see her really surviving much in this scenario. And then the burning of the tree, which she just looks awestruck. So something's going on there. We'll find out eventually later on. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to give you guys a quick reaction to the cinematic, and hopefully to the more videos to come when they actually release them. But anyways, I'm excited for BFA. 8.0 is coming out tomorrow, the pre-patch, so I'm going to be playing the hell out of that. But anyways, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.